Hey, Eddie's AutoGamerNode.com, and today I'm back with another board game review. This time we're looking at Orléans from Tasty Minstrel Games, designed by Reiner Stockhausen for 2 to 4 players. This is a bag building game. Much like a deck builder, you'll be adding to a bag full of cardboard tokens, and each of these represents a particular type of follower that can be used in combination with other followers to carry out specific actions on your own personal game board. It's very interesting, and not many games utilize this mechanic to such great effect. Orléans is pretty good. Let's take a look at it on the table. Okay, so here's the board for Orléans, and it's somewhat simple. We've got a map on one side and a bunch of various different tracks on the other. And this is the main area on which players will see the fruits of their labors. As far as actions are concerned, however, each individual player board will be where most of the activity will be occurring. So Orléans is a bag builder, and that's something of a modification to the deck builder genre. And we can define that by drawing from a randomized pool of things and taking those into your possession in order to be able to play using them, to take actions with them. In a deck builder, it's a deck of cards, you shuffle it, it's random, and you draw a hand with which you play. In Orléans, you have a bag, and in this bag, you have tokens. So on any given round of Orléans, you will be drawing from your bag, from whatever you've stocked it with throughout the game, and putting them out here as a sort of hand for that round. And during each planning phase, you'll be moving these little follower dudes out onto your board in order to take the actions listed in these various different places. So the game is a little bit more forgiving than a lot of other deck/pool building games because you have so many different combinations here. It really does feel like you always have something to do. It's a little bit more laid back. So in this case, I might use these three guys, say that I'm done planning, and then in the actions phase, take the village action. Or if I have some different characters, maybe I'll want to do this. Maybe I'll want to go to the university, and I can get myself one of this type of follower. Maybe I'll want to take these guys up here, and maybe I'll get this knight follower. Or maybe I'll go here, and I'll get myself another farmer. So generally, you're going to be using your followers down in this green area to gain new followers. Or you'll be taking some of those new followers that you've gained earlier in previous rounds, and then maybe you'll be going up here, which has to do with that map we were looking at. So maybe you'll put a couple of followers over here on the guild hall action, and you'll drop one of your trading posts on the map wherever your character stands. Or maybe you'll move over land, or maybe you'll move over rivers. So very simple. Everything is very straightforward, and you always have something to do. So that's nice. If you head into this area, to the scriptorium, maybe you can advance on the development track, which is a very important aspect of the game. This is a way by which you'll be multiplying various point scoring things that you collect throughout the game by these development track numbers. And as you go up, you're going to be earning money and achieving these citizen tokens. And we'll talk about that in a sec. So that's the player board. You're putting dudes out to gain more dudes, to move and interact with the map, and to go up on the tracks on the board. Additionally, there's always this town hall section, and that will bring us to another board where when you move your guys into there, you'll be able to send your followers out onto this town hall area, and you'll be filling up these sections. And this is sort of like a deck thinning mechanism. This is a a streamlining of your bag. When you're kind of done taking actions with certain types of followers, maybe you want to raise the probabilities of other types of followers, you'll then go ahead and put them out onto here. And you can't actually put the ones that have your player color out here. These would have to be followers that you've acquired later in the game. And as you fill these places up, you're sort of doing things for the city. You're building the city wall. It's mildly thematic. It's sort of just pasted on. You're just getting rid of these guys. And when you fill these up, you'll be gaining citizens and money, and the citizens are a big point scoring mechanism in the game. Let's just take a look back up here. So say I had done some of those actions down on my player board. Say I took the action of the village, which would allow me to take either a boatman, a craftsman, or a farmer. So I make that move on my player board, and then I say, okay, I'm going to take a craftsman. Here I can move up one on whichever track that I've decided to take a follower from, and I'll take one of those, and it goes into the bag. So now I have a little bit higher probability of drawing a craftsman. And as you go up on each of these tracks, you will gain particular benefits. Here you'll gain one of these technology tokens, and these go onto your board and let you permanently fill in a space on the board. So you'll never have to use a knight when you're traveling via wagon. So in this case, if I wanted to take that wagon action, I could stick a farmer and a trader on here, not worry about the knight, and then head over a road from one city to the next and take the good associated with that path. Same thing with the ship action, travel over a river and you take whatever goods you pass over. If I were to have done this guild hall, boom, I would drop one of my trading posts out here onto the map. And this is another big scoring aspect of the game. Players will multiply the development track number by the number of guild halls, trading posts, and citizens that they have. And that's the primary method of scoring, the other of which being victory points for each type of good, going from least to greatest, starting with wheat, going up through the cheese and the wine, this wool, and finally brocade. So there are a few different strategies. You can collect a lot of goods, you can lay out a lot of trading posts, you can head really high on this development track, or you can try to gain as many citizens as possible, or whatever combination of those things that you'd like. Heading over to the trader track here, this one allows you to gain buildings, which will give you additional actions. So you'll set this to the side of your board, and now you have a shipping line. You can just spend a single dude to go up on the development track. And there are a lot of interesting buildings like that. There are level 1 buildings and level 2 buildings that you can take a little bit later. And those help give you more options and give you more efficient options for performing actions. Boatman track gives you money as you travel up there. The knight track lets you draw more followers per round. So you start out and you're only able to draw your initial 4. As you go up on this track, you can draw 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then down on this scholar track, each time you go up on this track, you'll be bumping up the development track on the bottom. There's also the farmer track on top. As you go up each one of these, you'll gain the depicted good. And there's a little mechanism here where at the beginning of each round, the player who's in the lead gains a coin from the bank, and the player who's in last place loses a coin to the bank. And that happens in every player count except a 2-player game in which the leader gains a coin but the loser doesn't lose. Up here you have monks. These are wilds for the most part. You get them at the monastery on your board, and you can place these on any space for any type of character. As you're playing through the game, you're going to go through these hourglass tokens, and they give you different conditions that apply to the round in play. So the pilgrimage means you can't get monks. This harvest tile means at the end of the round, you'll either lose a good or 5 coins. And a lot of them are like that. They're going to be kind of rough things for about I'd say more than half of the stack is kind of hard on players. But they come out at the beginning of the round and they go into effect at the end of the round, so you have time to plan. So that's basically the entire game. You're going to be going round after round, drawing your followers out of your bag, taking actions on your board, and doing the various things on the board, either traveling over the map, picking up goods, laying out trading posts, going up on these various tracks and taking the actions associated with those, heading up the development track to get your multiplier up and get some of these things, or thinning out your pool by sending your people to the town hall to complete these goals and hopefully get some bonuses as you do it. So that is Orléans. Solid game. I like it. The bag building mechanic, the pool building, and the draw of the followers works out really well in this kind of game. I really appreciate the options that each player has on their player board to use various combinations of those followers to do the different actions. I think that really mitigates the struggles that players can have with the deck building style, being at the mercy of the draw. Really, you shuffle it up and you don't know what you're going to get. And I think that can be very frustrating in any competitive game. And I'm not a big fan of deck building, pool building, that sort of style of game, because I feel like if I'm trying to strategize, I can't just be ruined by a bad draw over and over again in standard games. Whereas in deck builders, most of the time I feel like I'm being screwed and there's nothing I can do about it. Of course, there's deck thinning, and in this game, that is a real benefit. You can take all those actions to go up on the various tracks for the followers. You gain benefits there each time you play there. You can use the actions that move you around the map with different things you can do there to work on generating points. You can move up that development track. You're earning that point multiplier, or you're gaining points from collecting goods. There are a variety of different ways to play. I sort of felt like I really was locked into maximizing that multiplier and getting citizens and dropping houses, but I also played against a player whose entire strategy was collecting goods, and he did very well, came very close to winning. So I think the balance is there. But the other benefit that I was about to say before was the deck thinning mechanism that's a core component of any deck builder. Well, in this case, the bag thinning mechanism, the follower ejection mechanism of sending those followers that you don't think you're going to need anymore out to that beneficial deeds board is wonderful, because you're gaining a benefit from doing that, not only thinning out your bag and increasing those probabilities of getting the followers that you prefer, but the idea that you're gaining money from sending them there. And if you work on the timing just right, you'll gain those citizens, which are, again, more multipliers for your points. Additionally, I really like the idea of those technology tiles that can make it so that you don't have to use a particular follower to carry out an action, and you can plan around that. So a lot of different things that work together really well. The places as well, getting the additional worker placement spots that only you can use. I love doing that. I love expanding my options and also gaining whatever passive bonuses I might be able to gain from those buildings as well. One thing that I think is important to note is that I've never before recommended deluxe components in a game. I don't think they're generally worth the money. It's more of like a collecting thing as opposed to a functional, purposeful part of the game. But the deluxe components, those solid wooden discs, completely blow the cardboard out of the water. Playing with the cardboard after playing with the deluxe components feels like a gimped experience. The way that the bags work and the way that the cardboard chits get jammed down into the corners is definitely not as satisfying as jumping in there with those wooden discs that really rustle around in the bag and feel incredibly satisfying to draw from the bag every time. I would entirely recommend going out and grabbing that upgrade pack, which you should be able to find online for a moderate price. And I think that perhaps Tasty Minstrel Games would have done well to just make the game with wooden components. I mean, obviously, it would have increased the price, but I think they're that much superior, and I really do like it with those wooden components. So that deluxe edition is worth it. So it's a 4 out of 5 on the GamerNode scale, and that's really good. I really like this one. If you like this one, if you like these videos, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See all of our videos as they come out. Follow us on Twitter at GamerNode and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/GamerNode. Check out the GamerNode Show podcast on iTunes and Stitcher, and of course, hit up GamerNode.com. Again, thanks for watching. I'm Eddie Inzauto. Until next time, have fun out there.